What is going on YouTube? This is DBZ49 coming at you with a very exciting deck profile. That is my first place box tournament Goblin deck profile. I'm very excited to showcase what I have to show within this deck. Just quickly through my matchups. It was 5 rounds. My first round played against Stun. Second round played against Dark World. Third round played against Horus. Fourth I played against I don't know, my last round played against Mannadium. The fourth round played against Raidraptor. So basically, if you play against any opposing XYZ deck, you're pretty much bound to win. This deck is obviously a XYZ focused kind of deck, and it utilizes both players XYZ, so I found that pretty neat. I did get second place at my locals before this one and lost in the finals to Snake Eyes. I know the matchups that I won for this tournament isn't as awesome as, playing against decks like, Snake Eyes and whatnot, and I didn't get to play those decks, which, I did dodge a bullet there, but, I did make my deck to where it is catered to beat that deck, but, whenever it gets hit, I'll definitely make some few modifications, but, yeah, anyways, without any further ado, let's get on with the main deck, starting with the go-to guy, Dugg Charger. Excuse me for not having, having it out fully max ready yet, but that is being in the works. However, Dugg Charger is pretty good. He is a extender, and then when he's a normal special, you can search your spell card that is a Goblin from your deck to your hand, so it's pretty good. Next, we just play a very minimal engine of Goblins, so we just play the 1-ofs of each. Me, Merciless, Clatter, Sploder, and then the Boom Mach. Basically, the reason why for such a small engine, you don't want to have too many copies of these cards in your deck. You only for these three in particular, you only just need one, and that's it. If you have more, you're bound to maybe clog, and it's not like you need to see them. They're very searchable. It's very easy to access them. So I never saw the need to run more than one of each of these. This one basically is an extender, and it helps you summon an extra Goblin from your hand. This one, when he's normal special, you can target a Goblin monster, even an XYZ one, and special summon it, and then during my opponent's main phase, I could detach an XYZ monster from either player's field and then special summon him. And this one's a little during the main phase, I can detach a material from the field to special summon him from either hand or grave, and I can't use his effect until the end of the next turn, but he's just another extender and another way to trigger Gabanga, potentially on your opponent's turn, so yeah, I just only play 6 Goblins in the main, and next we play, the best 1-card combo in the deck, that is Tour Guide. There's the infamous 1-card combo with her where you can spew out like 5 interruptions in the form of Masquerena, Gabanga, the Trap XYZ card, and then the Lancer. And then you still have 5 cards in hand after that. So I really thought that this combo was really good because not only is it a 1-card combo, but it gives you 5 interruptions, you still have 5 cards in your hand, and it's layered interruption. So what I mean by that is you still have a spell or trap, interruption that you can use in the XYZ armored, and then you have your graveyard effects that you can use as well. Another thing I wanted to mention was, like a lot of people in my locals are asking me, like, how am I, like, doing so well with this deck? Why aren't you playing it with, like Gold Pride or something like that? And I just want to answer those questions real quickly before I forget. The Gold Pride engine is nice. You can the beautiful thing about the Goblin deck is that it can sync with a lot of decks out there that are like XYZ related. I tried testing with Kashtira and whatnot, and you can definitely do it like that. I play it pure because I dedicate a lot of deck space to like utility cards, as usually later to the deck profile, and I feel that you need to play a lot of hand traps as well to like combat those Snake Eyes kind of decks. Otherwise, you just don't stand a chance. So that's my reasoning behind that. And another reason why, I was doing well with the decks because no one knows what the heck any of the cards do. Usually, the first interaction they see, if I normal summon Tour Guide, they're going to hit it with Imperm and whatnot, which is fine because you do have a ton of extenders, as you're going to see moving forward. Just the Terrortop package right here. It's the next best thing to Tour Guide. It's a 1-card combo, essentially. Taketomborg is pretty interesting because we have some wind monsters in the deck. So you can actually use his effect to special summon himself without Terrortop. That's happened multiple times, so I thought that was pretty cool. And next for the emergency teleport targets, we do play the Tracker, the Wielder, and then the one Nyannyan. These two are great extenders. And then Nyannyan is pretty cool because this is the primary target you want to get off your emergency teleport, because later on you can summon her back and use her again as a XYZ3 material. So that's pretty cool. So, you know, she can count as 2 monsters essentially, and she's a win. So you can normal summon her, special summon Taketomborg, and then just combo from there. And then last for the extenders, we do play the one Kagemucha Knight. I want to clarify something with this card because it has come to my attention. You can actually, in the TCG, you can chain block using this card's effect. So if I were to normal summon Tour Guide, Chainlink 1 Tour Guide, Chainlink 2 Kagemucha Knight. If I'm incorrect, you know, feel free to post it in the comment below. But to my understanding, in the TCG, that's how it works. But in the OCG, it doesn't. And like online simulators as well, you know, they follow OCG. But so this is a cool way to chain block some stuff, so that's pretty cool. Also, I only played the one. I never felt the need to play more. That is it for like the main monsters that are not hand traps, which is the next section here. We do play a grand total of 13, and I'll explain that in a sec. So we do play 3 Nibs, the 3 Ash, and another cool thing about Ash is that it's a level 3, so you can actually normal summon it, in which I had to do at one time in the tournament where I had to normal summon actually the next card, Belle, and then just special summon like a wielder and then combo from there. You know, my opponent was dumbfounded when they saw me normal summon this card. It was like, what is going on, as my first move. So it's pretty cool. And then the same thing with the Moonlit Shield. They're all level 3s, and she's a win, so that does come up with the Taketomborg. But the reason why I play 13 is because I wanted to have a lot of variety of hand traps. I didn't want to clog on having too many of the same in my hand, because you can only resolve Belle and Moonlit once. The same thing with Ash, but I mean, Ash is just Ash. So I just want to have some variety. They're level 3s, and they go in tandem with actually Shifter, which I'll get into later in the deck profile. So because they don't hit the grave, otherwise I'd be playing like Veiler or something like that. And then you have a higher chance of opening at least 2 hand traps, like when you lose a die roll. Like I think it's up to like 50%, maybe a little bit more. Now that I play 13s, usually I play 12 in my decks, but yeah. And then lastly, for the hand traps, we do play triple Imperm, of course. Next, for more extenders, we do play triple E-Telly to bring out those, you know, psychic cards. You know, a lot of times your first normal summon is going to be interrupted or whatnot, so just having extender is really nice. Next, we do play my personal favorite card in the deck, the Grand Entrance. This card's absolutely cracked. It does 3 things in 1 card, basically. It's a Rhoda for the archetype. I can special summon from my hand by detaching material, all 1 effect. And then in the graveyard, I can detach a material from other player's field to add a Goblin. I can add a Goblin card from my graveyard to my hand. That comes up because sometimes you don't even want to add the Goblin from your graveyard to your hand. You just want to keep the Sploder in the graveyard. So if you just keep that in mind, you just need to detach a material for whatever reason. But yeah, this card's really good, and it does 3 things in 1 card. So yeah, and then we played the one Grand Bash. This one is a little like it does give you an extra normal summon, and then for each goblins, your goblin monsters gain 300 attack for each, and then you can modulate the levels of 2 goblins on the field to level 6. This card helps you play around Nibiru. So basically, there's a line where you have big Gabanga, which is a 3rd summon, and then you summon 2 other level 3 monsters. And then at that point, a lot of players, they'll nib you there, which is fine because you can just activate this later and then just normal summon Sploder to, you know, continue with your combo afterwards. You know, typically I like to go into the whole Lancer combo, which I'll get into in a bit. Next, for the 1-ofs, we do play the 1 Rhoda, the 1 Call By, the 1 Armored XYZ. For the life of me, I wasn't playing this card initially because I didn't want to lose to Droll. This deck, another interesting about this deck is that it can play around a lot of things, but at the same time, it gets hurt by a lot of things as well. Whether it's the form of hand traps, especially board breakers, and then the 1 Full-Armored Xyz. So I know that it is a hand trap format, and this deck can push through hand traps. But Droll kills you, Nib you can play around, and like Ash, Imperm, Veiler, they all hurt. Everything hurts, but like the thing is, like if you have extenders or whatnot, you can always still play the game. But let's talk about these 2 cards real quick. It's the Full-Armored XYZ and the Armored XYZ. A lot of people don't play this. I think this card's mandatory, especially in my build. It's your win button, basically, going second. Basically, this allows you to XYZ summon during my opponent's turn. And then I can banish this card to attach an XYZ monster from my graveyard to that monster. So there's a way to play around evenly matched, in a sense. like you can have this card in your graveyard and to just like make SP Little Knight and then banish 2 cards, and then you can have this as follow up in your graveyard and then give a big power boost. Like I like using this card on Ashura King. And so you can swing for big damage. This card is pretty cool. You can attach some of the XYZs from your graveyard to your Lancer monster, and it can do some neat things. You can attack twice and swing for some big damage. So that is it for the main deck. That is a 40 deck main deck, and now we'll quickly just go through the side deck here. We played 3 Shifter. Now, a lot of people are going to be questioning this. Like, yes, you do use your graveyard a lot, but the idea behind Shifter is that if you play against Snake Eyes or decks that just lose hard to Shifter, you'll Shifter them, and then you'll make like a Fortune Tune or an XYZ3 that can, then you can attack, and then you make a format Zeus. And that's the game plan going second, as with Shifter. So I personally, the 2 tournaments I've been to, I never dropped Shifter once. Like I signed it in all the time, but it just never showed up. So I really couldn't showcase that aspect of it. But it does conflict with the Droll, which I decided to actually move to the side deck. I felt that in the pure variant against Snake Eyes, this card isn't that impactful. It is impactful against other decks. Like I think in the Fire King deck, with the Snake Eyes, it's a little bit more impactful, but for and it's only good against certain matchups as well, like in Mannadium or something like that. But yeah, so I did decide to move it to the side deck. I did play the Duster and the 2 Lightning Storms. The thing is it is a locals, so like you expect a lot of random stuff to be there. You don't want to just lose to random back row stuff, and so. This is actually not bad against the Snake Eye matchup because they're going to side at Summon Limit. If they side at Summon Limit, you pretty much lose. So you want to at least have like a Lightning Storm in there to pop it, but also you can just destroy the face-up attack position monsters, or at least at the very least, it can bait out like a Savage or a Baron or something like that. So there are some implications for this card to being played going second against the Snake Eyes matchup. For stuff that helps us go first, even second with the tactics as well, just to be able to rip stuff from the hand, and then the 3 crossouts. You do lose to quite a bit of hand traps. There are a couple weak points to the deck, especially Droll. So you want to have the crossout to deny your opponents from like interrupting your board. The game plan is to go for that 5 interruption, and then have hand traps to back it up. And then you can break boards using your XYZ monsters in the form of Zeus and this card right here. So, Biker Big Gabonga. This card's crazy. It does 3 things. On XYZ summon, add a Goblin monster from your deck to your hand. If a material is detached from either player's field, you can target a monster my opponent controls and attach it as material. And during the end phase, you can attach a Goblin monster from your deck to this card. So, it does a lot for the deck. It can help break boards. It can get really big with the Bash. And yeah, it's a very good card. Next, we played the most cuttable card in the extra deck, and I never made this once. It's the Crazy Beast. Maybe like in a format where there's a little bit more back row or something like that, this might be a little bit more relevant. But it's the cool thing about this card, it's really good against Horus and Voiceless Voice matchup, because if you go first, you make this, and then when they put the King Sarcophagus or the spell card of the Voiceless Voice, use this effect to attach it. So I thought that was pretty cool. And it also can help for card effect destructions, and it can bring itself back. I never made it once. I've been theorizing a lot of cards to put in, whether it's Megaclops, Underworld Goddess, Totem Bird, Break Sword. All of these cards I've been theorizing for this last spot here. Even Evulsar Lars, I know some people have been playing that. I feel that it's a little hard to get him out. Especially going first, like you need a lot of setup for him to get out. And I know a lot of people are not really playing Dark Ruler no more or anything like that, so I didn't feel the need to play like Lars. So yeah, and then next we played Ashura King. Pretty good. I made him a lot. You can swing for 3 times potentially, and it's prevent like Nibiru or Droll if you open gas. My favorite package in the extra deck, my second favorite, is the Fortune Tune Downer. A lot of times I go into Fortune games or like going second, and like my opponent has no way to like interrupt it because it can't be targeted, it can't be destroyed by card effects. So against the Snake Eyes matchup, they have a really hard time to like get over this. So like it's really easy to swing, and then like you can make Zeus clear the board. So I thought that was pretty cool. Next we do play the one Gossip. Basically you try to set him up or Ashura King going first so you can prevent hand traps. Then number 3, it's a monster negate, so it's all right. Next to the torpedo in the armor fortress, this lets you draw. This lets you search your spell or trap XYZ cards, and when they're equipped to the boss monster, the Dark Lancer, they get bonus effects. Where it's like, it's a Dark Blow no more, can't be targeted, and then when it does damage to a monster, it's double damage. And being able to swing twice with the spell card helps you win. And then when he's equipped, you can attach a non-targeting, attach one monster your opponent controls to this card. For each material this card has, it gains 300 attack and equip cards as well. So it gets pretty big and helps go for game. So that's my game plan going second, along with the Zeus and Typhon. Broken cards, and then finally we do play the 1 SP and the 1 IP Masquerena for extra interruptions on our opponent's turn. So yeah, guys, that is it for the deck profile. I felt I covered every little thing that I wanted to cover in this deck. If you have any questions, feel free to post it below down in the video. I do try my very best to read them and respond to the best of my ability. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of the day.